Hey guys, it's Buddhagem, and this is going to be another edition of Buddhagem's Mailbox, where I attempt to answer questions I get in my inbox, because sometimes people's questions don't neatly fit into the 500 character limit that you can leave in the comment section below. So these questions and concerns are from YouTube user One True Misfit. The first one is Occupy Wall Street really going to change things in the long run? The honest answer is, I don't know. Anybody who tells you different is flat out lying. The long term, we're in the baby stages of this movement. I'd ask people to think about other social movements. What if the women that met at Seneca Falls in the 1840s had given up on the fight for women's suffrage? Or if the tireless folks in the 1930s who were creating the civil rights movement had given up within 4 months? These things are long struggles, usually taking decades, if not centuries. And this is really a continuation of all those struggles. The fight doesn't end. What is the long run? Is there a final goal, a destination? No. But right now, today, it is an amazing, dynamic movement. And I think if you're concerned about its survival, the only thing you can do is get active and get involved. I mean, here's a movement where you have a voice. It doesn't have predetermined leaders in a lockstep program. We are developing this as we go along, and it's beautiful and it's amazing, and we need you, quite frankly. We can't do it on our own. OWS, Occupy Wall Street, is not something out there. It is something here. It's in our hearts. It's in our minds. It's in the places we live, where we go to school. It is everywhere, and it is all of us. So please join in if you're concerned about the longevity of this movement. The next is a concern that Occupy Wall Street's goals don't really measure up to those of the great 19th century European thinkers. Here, I just think this is it's like comparing apples and oranges. To compare these thinkers to an entire movement that spans the globe seems, I don't know how productive that is. It's easier as an individual to maybe think of utopian goals or ideas or strategies. It's another to carry them out with real live people across the globe. So I don't know how apt that is. Those are my thoughts on it. So moving on to the next one, which is kind of connected. He doesn't see the radical change coming out of Occupy Wall Street because too many of the people are caught up in the status quo. And I guess that ties into the last concern, the idea that there are not enough radicals in this movement to carry out any radical change, and so it's going to be this reformist blah, blah, blah. I completely disagree with this sentiment. It's something that I've said. A lot of other radical activists, friends of mine, have echoed the same sentiment, is the fact that there are so many people involved in this movement right now who were never activists before, who had never done anything like this, who had never been arrested or carried out nonviolent civil disobedience. All of these things is a testament to how amazing this movement is. And going back to my previous video, it's something to really consider. We don't come to a movement like this as completed individuals. This movement is changing all of us. It's changing the reformists in us. It's changing the radicals in us. It's changing the liberals amongst us. Together, it's through that deliberative process. I mean, one of the most amazing things when I'd go down to Liberty Square were the conversations happening with people all over the political spectrum, having real, sincere dialogues. Not this stuff we see online a lot where I'm right, you're wrong, you're stupid, you're ignorant. No, seriously, like, wow, I don't understand why you think that. Could you explain? That is amazing. Tonight we're having an open spaces meeting, which is a new kind of dynamic thing that we're taking on as part of Occupy Wall Street, where we don't just deliberate and make decisions, but we actually just deliberate and talk. And tonight's going to be about the grievance process and how to deal with disruptive people and all of that, but no decisions made. Just us coming together as individuals and discussing in a very organic, creative, dynamic way. All of this, I can't stress enough, is changing all of us. And the fact that we're not all lockstep, black bloc anarchists is frankly a strength. A diversity of tactics, diversity of ideas. It's our diversity that gives us strength. And finally, One True Misfit asks, what kind of changes do you think are realistic? I'm probably the worst person to ask about this. Realistic, I think the sky's the limit. The more people get involved, the more people get active. We're the 99%. The odds are on our side. But it takes us pulling people out of their apathy, out of their atomized existence in this society, to bring them into this process that transforms us all. It takes that, and that takes work. Baby steps. We're only a few months into this, folks. But I honestly, the sky's the limit. For me to limit it and say, well, look, this is what's realistic. We can get some little incremental reforms, and blah. I don't believe that at all. I think we have the seeds, we have the kernel of radical change within this movement. I've never seen anything like that. I know a lot of activists who are going all the way back to the civil rights movement who say the same thing. We're all pinching ourselves that this is even happening. We've dreamt about this movement for a long, long time. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but it does mean it's amazing. And I really, truly believe that the sky's the limit when it comes to realistic change. And it just depends on us. How much do you want to get involved? How much time and energy are you willing to pump into this movement? It's up to us. So, again, thanks for the questions from One True Misfit. This has been another edition of Buddhagem's Mailbox. If you have similar questions that don't fit neatly into that comment section, ask them. You can follow me on Twitter at Buddhagem. Hit me up there. And if you see me at an event, hit me up, say hi, all right? Occupy with your heart, occupy with your mind. Let's do this.